Alright, continuing on, let's take that finger and copy to the other spots on the hand so that we can build the rest of the fingers a lot more easily than building them one at a time. Alright, so let's select our mesh, go to the polygon sub-object level, and since the tip of the finger there is selected, we can use grow to just continue to grow the rest of those polys down. So I'll stop one set of polygons shy of the connection to the hand, so that once I copy it over and delete the polygons here, I can use the bridge tool to bridge it back onto the mesh. So if I just hold down shift and drag that over, we got to make sure we turn our constraints off. So then if I hold down shift and drag that over, I actually get a new finger. So it's going to ask me, I want to clone it to an element so that it's part of the same mesh. It's just a new chunk. So now we'll zoom in here and use our zoom extends tool. As we zoom in and look around, it looks like it's in a pretty good spot. I do, as I model though, want to make sure that the fingers are splayed. So then later on when we go to rig, we'll be able to actually do that without getting all the vertices on the center line of the fingers crossing over in the rigging. So for now this is fine, but know that in a little bit when we go to fine tune this thing, we're going to have to open those fingers up so that we have some room between them. So then we're going to take these two polygons and we're going to delete them. And since I have two open borders, I can go to border here and then control select the border here. And then we can use our bridge tool to bridge a new set of polygons in between there. So grab the bridge tool, and since the mesh itself on the palm doesn't have vertices, we're going to cancel that. And we're going to actually add some vertices on the hand to make it so that we can bridge this a little bit more cleanly. Alright, so I'm going to find my cut tool, and we're going to cut from this edge back to this edge. Same on the back. I'm going to cut from there to there. Alright, now I'm going to go back to border. That border and that border. And now when we bridge, we should get a much cleaner connection. And then we'll add an extra segment. Now, yes, this finger does have an extra segment here. Well, so let's get rid of that. And then we'll just slide this one closer. So we'll accept that. And then we are going to deselect these edges back here and move these a bit. The only real way to try to figure out what you're looking at a lot of times is to keep looking at it from multiple angles. As you move around the mesh, you'll start to get a good understanding of what you're looking at. A lot of times it can be pretty confusing looking at all those edges and vertices, but as you start to move around, you'll actually get a much clearer idea of where the elements are that you're looking at. About the only way to figure out what's going on in here. Alright, so from there, we'll go back to polygon. Well, let's select the finger again. So we'll start with the index finger, and then again with grow. We'll grow back, and then we'll shift copy that down. Now let's move this off the way a little bit here. I know it's a little bit too long, but we need to delete these polygons. So let's grow that, and then delete. Then if I go to element, I can select that entire element at one time. Now let's bring that back, match it up with the ring finger. That should be pretty close. And then back to bridge. Now we're going to have to do the same thing on this one, where we had to cut over here We'll do the same thing and we'll cut here. Kind of prep the palm for the connection to that finger. All right, that should work pretty good. Back to border. We'll select our 2 open borders here, and then go to bridge. All right, now, if it were the case that when we try to bridge this, it doesn't figure out what edges to bridge to which, we can use the twist tools to tell it to rotate and basically pick a different set of edges to connect to. So since that is correct, we will accept it, and then go back to vertex and make some adjustments. Well, that'll work for now. Let's get the pinky on there. Scale the pinky down, move it into place. See, coming from the edge of the hand there. If we rotate the pinky out a little bit, it'll actually help us right now to deal with the splay. Let's just rotate it out a little bit more until it's about the right size. We can always go back and make adjustments to that later on as well. So we've got to delete the 2 polygons that are on the palm there, so we can throw those away. And then we go back to border. And again, we need to cut along the palm. To see a little bit better here, I'm actually going to find my transparency for this viewport. And it's under Materials, Transparency. We're going to turn it off for this viewport, so it's a little bit easier to see what's going on. Cut from right there back to there. Same thing on the back. Now, if you go to cut and you're not cutting across or seeing that edge display on the face that you expect it to, right-click to cancel and pretty much assume that you started grabbing the wrong edge and it's unable to cut the way you want it to. So then back to bridge, and that works pretty good. So we'll OK it, and then we'll go back and make our vertex adjustments. All right, looks good for fingers for now. And the next one, we'll make some adjustments to that and then start on the thumb.